let's hear what else he has on his mind tonight. Oh, let's hear what else he has on his mind before we go back to the phone lines. Okay.
Then sometime in 2024, all these things have happened in Barbados. I'm just trying to paint a picture for you of what has happened before your very eyes, but you didn't realize what was happening. There's a piece of legislation that is at present causing a lot of outrage in the United Kingdom, certainly amongst lawyers. Trial by judge alone in criminal cases. Same arguments that were used there have been used here. It will help to get rid of the backlog. That's what they say. So, an accused person now has the right to, when he's arraigned, to say whether he wants to be tried by a judge alone or by jury. And the theory is, so they say, that if he elects to be tried by judge alone, that will help with the backlog. The lawyers in England say that is madness. They don't have any time with that foolishness. But the law has been passed here already. Now, trial by jury is not a gift from anybody. Before we got to trial by jury, let me tell you what used to happen to establish guilt or innocence. There used to be something called trial by ordeal. So, if you wanted to establish your innocence, you had to agree to have a red hot iron put in your hands and to walk a certain distance with it. And if after you walk the distance with it, your hand did not suffer any major damage, you were presumed to be innocent. Or you were asked to walk on a red hot iron, and if your feet were not damaged, you were supposed to be innocent. But if your hands or your feet were damaged, then you were guilty. Red hot iron. Now you know what happens to you if you just pass and touch a hot saucepan by chance. But this is a red hot iron men had to walk with in order to establish their innocence. That was trial by ordeal. There was also the ordeal of having your hand put in boiling water with the same outcome. If your hand wasn't harmed, you're innocent. If it was harmed, you're guilty. Or you were thrown into the water, thrown into cold water now. If your body sank, you were innocent. If it floated, you were guilty. So that was trial by ordeal. When that turned out to be not as effective as people thought it should be, there was a transition to trial by battle. So, you want to establish your innocence, you were given a shield and a cudgel, and another man was given a shield and a cudgel. And he had to fight as though you were the bitterest enemies ever. Whoever got tired first, I had to give up. If you got tired first and had to give up, you were guilty. If you outstayed your opponent, you were innocent. Trial by battle. And then there was trial by what was called compurgation. You want to prove your innocence, you had to find a number of people who were prepared to come and take oaths, called compurgators, to establish your innocence. And you had to find the number that your accusers insisted on. If you couldn't find them, you're guilty. All of that happened before we worked our way to something called trial by jury. And trial by jury, as has been pointed out in the British Parliament over and over again on this issue, and it's being pointed out by the British Bar, trial by jury has worked, and worked very well. But now we're being told it's backlogged, so we may as well sacrifice it for trial by judge alone. An accused man who's being tried by jury helps to choose the jury. If he has to choose to be tried by a judge alone, he can choose to be tried by a judge alone, but he don't choose the judge. But again, this backlog talk has overtaken the public discourse, and that has gone on as well as though quite hard. Jury trials were an affirmation of democracy. It was an increment to democracy. Getting back to one-man trial is a subtraction from democracy. That has passed as well. No debate. Body happy. And we go happily along. And the lilies of the valley that came in 2018 continue to have their own way. The lilies of our Barbadian valley. These things have to be. Now, the state of our politics is not only limited to those things. This democratic outfit that we've been wearing is being quietly stripped away from us without any protest from us. We are treating it as some kind of costume that you put on for a particular time and when ready, take it off and throw it one side. Democracy is continuous and must reflect itself in every area of our life. It is the method by which people who are deemed to be politically relevant influence the decision-making process. There was a time when people who had property or worked for a certain income were the only politically relevant people in Barbados. They influenced the decision-making process. After Crawford's struggles, there was a time when you had to be age 21 to be politically relevant in Barbados. Then people at age 21 and over influenced the decision-making process. And then, in time for the 1971 general election, the Democratic Labour Party decided that if you are age 18 or over, you are politically relevant and can influence the decision-making process. That is what we have done for this country. All of the confusion you see around you here in Barbados has an explanation. I said somewhere recently that it feels like a lifetime, but it is only 8 years at Barbados Labour Party. Only 8 years. Not even two full parliamentary terms yet. At the Ministry of Health, Since 2018, we've had first Mr. Jeffrey Bostic as Minister of Health. Then we had Mr. Ian Goodinegel along with Dr. Brown, ministers in the health ministry. Then we had Dr. Walcott and Mr. Davison Ishmael, ministers in the Ministry of Health. And now we have, what's her name, Lisa, coming. So that's 1 and 2, 3 and 2, 5, 6 ministers in 8 years in the Ministry of Health. 6 ministers in 8 years in the Ministry of Education. First, Ms. Bradshaw. Then, Ms. K. McConney. That's 2. Then we had Ms. Sandra Husbands and Mr. Chad Blackman. That's 4. And of course, we still have Chad Blackman and Sandra there, but they're, for all practical purposes, new ministers because they had to be reappointed by the head of state. Public Works and Transport. We started with William Duguid. Then we moved to Sandy Bradshaw. Then we're now at Mr. Humphrey. Oh, he was at transport too? Okay, right. So that's four then. Four in 8 years. I can't remember the names of them. And you can go through them ministry by ministry by ministry. All these personalities. There's something called busy inertia in this government. Busy inertia. Everybody busy and nothing ain't happening. Whenever I've watched them, I am reminded of what a historian said about the government of the Austrian Empire in the 19th century. He said the government of the Austrian Empire is so sweetened by negligence and frivolity that it has become slow, secret, arbitrary, and confused. He said it's wrapped in such layer upon layer of formalism that it seems screened off from the spirit of improvement. And that is what we see around us every day. And we must begin to ask questions about these things. Of course, I wouldn't advise you to ask the governor of the central bank because you may end up with the unchiseled, repellent, and disdainful put down that journalist recently suffered at his hands. But all of this confusion, this busy inertia, and nothing is happening. The new minister with responsibility for crime has announced a number of things. He is establishing a gun court. He said the government is committed to reclaiming the streets. Now, reclaiming the streets means you lost them before. You don't reclaim something that you already have. You have lost them, so you're not going to reclaim them. And in the meanwhile, while all of that talk is going on, citizens, whenever they meet one another, their parting words are, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, be safe, Because there's a consciousness in the country that anything can happen to anybody anytime. So it has now become routine to say to people, be safe. So socially, we are in a state of confusion as well. While the narrative is that all is well, that we're living in a sunlit environment, the actual experiences of people say otherwise. Reflect that recently one of the public officials, the lady who used to be in charge of what used to be called the National Task Force on Crime Prevention, it has another name now because that's the other thing. We change names very often. Don't forget, she announced in the front page story that 240 young men lost their lives by violent crime between 2019 and at the time of her speech. 240. This is the one that lost their lives. This doesn't say the ones that got wounded but have survived. So that is not the whole crime picture. But that is the nature of her loss. And then when you come to economic matters, this story is no different. There's been all this growth, 20 consecutive quarters of growth. The economy is doing well. That's what we are told. But the actual lived experience of the average household is something completely different. When you go to shore pay, you don't meet the economy there. When you go to the Barbados Water Authority, there's no economy there. The economy is doing too well to be there. You got to be there because you're doing well. And this fiction continues to characterize our politics in Barbados today. And it has to be smashed, this fiction. It does not reflect the reality that all of us in this room experience in this country. It just does not. And therefore, we know as a party what kind of work we have to do. The lilies of the valley have not delivered what they said they were going to deliver. There was supposed to be this new heaven and this new earth after May 2008. Well, the book of Revelation talks about St. John the Divine said he saw a new heaven and a new earth, but the first heaven and the first earth were passed away, and there was no more sea. Well, for us, there's still sea because we have to get offshore islands, but they ain't come yet. The offshore islands that we were promised have not yet come. So, the lilies have not delivered. And I think that I should wind up what I have to say. I should let William Shakespeare have that. Shakespeare said in one of his poems, I don't want to quote the whole poem, said, the summer flower is to the summer sweet. Though to itself, it only live and die. But if that flower base infection meet, the basis weed outbraves his dignity. And these are the two critical lines now. For sweetest things turn sourest by their deeds, and lilies that fester smell far worse than weeds. Lilies that fester smell far worse than weeds. And that's the reality with which we are dealing in Barbados over the last 8. Lilies that fester smell far worse than weeds. I thank you very much.
Folks, what a class tonight. What a class act. Honestly, what a class act tonight. Already people are calling. People are calling. I was trying to get that little piece of Shakespeare in. I was trying to find it. It says, I love these kinds of things. For sweetest things turn sourest by their deeds. Lilies that fester smell far worse than weeds. Lilies that fester smell far worse than weeds. Wow. Good night, caller. Welcome to the Marcia Reed Show.
Hi, good night, Marcia.
Good night. Have you been listening to the Right Honorable Floodland Stewart?
Thank you very much for being able to replay that because I missed most of it. And I have just one phrase. To explain is to expose. And tonight, every single Barbadian voter should be given an opportunity to listen to Mr. Stewart. I'm going to tell you why. And tonight proves why that they do not want him to be heard.
Yes.
Because he will expose them. So they're using a narrative by their pollsters and the talk show hosts all across social media platforms that nobody wants to hear from that sort. Because if he exposes them any further, the Barbadian people are going to deal with them in a very serious way. And that is why they want to keep him quiet. Unfortunately, that kind of narrative has infiltrated the party that I support. And they are fearful.
I know who I'm talking to. This is Miss. I know who I'm talking to now.
They are fearful because the narrative seems to be taken over. And I'm saying that you can't keep that kind of history. They were exposed, this government was exposed a little bit tonight by Fonda Short.
A lot.
And it brought a lot of things into focus. And we have reached a stage where are we going to allow that or the stalwarts of the Democratic Labour Party to be given a voice only because the E.M.M.A government decides that she is going to confer a ministry, bring them into the party, or offer Mr. Short something to make him relevant? Is that where we are? She took 2 politicians and now they've become the face of international business. The Navajo person has become the face of crime fighting in Barbados. So as Barbadians, are we waiting for the E.M.M.A and her government to confer some special award to Mr. Stewart for we to be comfortable listening to him?
And there's something that you said there that even his own party, they have believed that narrative. Even the party, the DLP party, has been. Look at this man tonight, and the party. When you have drunk that red Kool-Aid, that is what happens. And I think Barbados need to resist that. And this platform, I will tell you this caller, and I know who this caller is, but I will tell you. Let me tell you this caller. As long as God gives me breath, Mr. Stewart has a place on this platform because, caller, I had a whole show planned. had a full show planned. I was out in the in St. Andrew, the hills of St. Andrew yesterday. I was coming to show you about the oil and what I promised. We we had stuff from Ronnie Clark at the tent, all of these things. But when like 30 minutes before I came to the show, I started to listen to it. I'm like, no way. We have to hear him. Jason was supposed to come on tonight, and thank God he says that he will come on another time. But we had to listen to Mr. Stewart tonight. So I don't know where they're getting this nonsense from. Just
and we have a load, and he gives a snippet of the easy voters and the people who are not voting are given the right to vote and make a decision on government at 18 years old. He gave us a lesson of where what government, what party allowed 18-year-olds to have the right and a say in the political future of Barbados. And we have them thinking, and we have a lot of people are younger believe that politics only started in 2018. But I'm glad you have described it in such a way. And I just put in the red lilies are no smelling.
Write it and send it to me. He said, for sweeter things turn sorrows by their deeds. Lilies that fester smell far worse than weeds. And you say what?
The red lilies are no smelling.
The red lilies are no smelling. This man is a boss, I tell you. And I can't.
They want to keep silent. I want people to understand their narrative. I want people to understand what has happened to Barbadian politics and why they are saying that the DLP is not ready, and they keep telling that narrative. This was a party which took on Owen Arthur at the height of his popularity in 2008 and lit the stoppings out of him. This Prime Minister, the past former Prime Minister, came to office after the death of David Thompson. And they thought that in 2013 that they had the election won. And ever since then, a concerted effort has been made not to allow these fellows to face, because then you can take on Oinafa at the height of his popularity. We knew what Oinafa stood for in Barbados politics at that time, and beat him at the polls. These were fellows that you could not allow a DLP to research, and we are getting on as if, and they're talking as if 330 love is a lifetime. He brought it to the fore tonight when he said they're not even in for 2 full political terms. And the changes and the twisting, we have elected a group of people who are celebrity politicians. They talk good, they look good, they put on a show, but they're nothing for the people. And we are got back. We are carried away. But what substance is not meeting what we're seeing is not substance. It is a show, and we have to stop treating politics as if it's a side show, and it is just about winning the next election. It is about people's lives and livelihood, and we have abandoned that. I can remember, because I started following politics from the early 80s as a young, not able to vote, but voted for the first time in 86.
Mm-hmm.
And Marcia, only two issues that we are talking about now was enough back then to bring down any government, because it interfered with people and their families. And we have a riffle of issues. We have people that can't go to the supermarket. We have laws being made and passed that he highlighted tonight.
Yes.
We have big men and women signing away their rights. What? They should not be politicians. We should not vote for them, because if they sign away their rights like that, of freedom of speech, they will do it. They will sit down.
Yes.
And we have to wake up, and that is why they want to silence the stalwarts of the Democratic Labour Party. But we have to capture, when we are not pleased with government, we vote them out.
Mm-hmm.
30%, just over 30-something% voted, which means another 60% or so are not pleased. But I am saying, then we are not pleased with this, what our government that we have elected to serve us is doing. We go to the polls and we make decisions that says to them, you are not representing our best interest. The time has long passed to say to the E.M.M.A, the administration, you are not working in our interest. Every time you open the paper, I know something has to be wrong. You're traveling up and down and taking every quarter moment to accept personal accolades and awards. This is not what you were elected for. You don't spend time in Barbados. You declare boldly that somebody will get you're just a telephone call away. The people elected you. Your responsibility is here. But we're seeing a situation where it appears that you want to collect as much international recognition as your people and your country is crying out for help. And we as the people we're not doing anything about it.
Correct.
We're going to get the polls 3 times. And we voted for what we see, but not what is underneath.
Yeah. There's so much that was said. Listen, caller, we need to talk after the show, and we need to come up as you were talking. So many things were coming into my mind, thoughts, because I realized the same thing, Barbados, the same thing that they're doing with Errol Barrow. It is the same thing that they want to do with Mr. Stewart. Do you hear me? And it's the same thing they want to do with, for example, I mean, we can't even come in the same bracket as Mr. Stewart, but it's the same thing they want to do with Ralph Thorne as well. Any person
that stands up and brings attention to the nonsense that they're doing, they are going to take them. I want the Democratic Labour Party people and people of Barbados to understand that if they are sitting down waiting for the Barbados Labour Party and their leader to get a stamp of approval to anyone who is elected as leader or selected as leader of the Democratic Labour Party, hell will freeze over. The next person will be treated the same way.
Correct. They need to realize that and stand up. That's what the DLP needs to realize. It is not about Ralph Thorne. Whoever pushes out their head as a leader, they're gonna cut off your head. So when they're there, they're they need to realize that they need to. It's your party. I'm not part of the party. They need to realize that you cannot give this woman an inch. You can't give these people an inch. They're gonna take a mile. Do not listen to the rhetoric. Do not believe the rhetoric, period. Okay? Look at this intelligent man here tonight, and they tell us that they gave him a name, that he's stupid. They're labeling this man stupid that we listen to tonight. You could listen to them. They're liars.
We have problems in education. We have parents and teachers alike. The last meeting was a disaster. Parents are not comfortable, and we know what education means to our people. I was made to understand that the technocrats in education are not comfortable with what we're proposing for September. But there's one particular person who is deciding this is what I want. So the technocrats are left to take the brunt of the abuse of parents and the uncertainty of teachers to sell what one person wants.
Yeah.
That is what we've come to.
That's right. I
keep telling them that governments come, governments go, but permanent secretaries and those persons who make decisions and write policy stay longer than any minister or any prime minister.
Correct. Well,
don't listen.
Caller,
everything has to happen now.
No, caller, I'm sure this. I know this show tonight is going to bleed over into Monday. We can't, and actually, I want to say this. Well, let me just say, caller, thank you for calling, and we will talk off air. Right, I'm backed up with calls. Okay, thank you so much. You can just press out the call for me. Thank you. Let me just say, folks, that this caller on the phone here really, Michelle and others, put an idea in my head. We have not had a roadside parliament since we had a reply to the budget in March. And I want to make a public request, invitation. Tell Mr. Fonda Stewart that we are making a public invitation to him. I am going to write him the letter, but I am taking the liberty of inviting him tonight. This is the night. Tonight it's 9:53, Sunday, June 28th, 9:53. Mr. Fonda Stewart, we want to invite you to address this nation. The Marcia Week Show, we want to invite you to address this nation. Barbados at 60, a statesman's message to the nation. I just came up with that theme. If somebody don't like it and you want to change it up a bit, you can give me some ideas. I just came up with that theme just a while ago. Barbados at 60, a statesman's message to the nation. Mr. Fonda Stewart, if you are listening, sir, we will do everything. Provide the platform for you, sir. Advertise it early. How many of you like that idea? While I get to the next call, give me a thumbs up if you like the idea. How many of you like the idea? If you like that idea, okay, so I'm going to answer the call in the order in which I received the calls tonight. Okay, so I'm going to answer calls in the way I received. There are people who are waiting, and I'm going to try my best, okay, to answer the calls in the order I received them. Good night, caller. Welcome to the Marcia Week Show. We have 5 minutes, so you're going to get to the point. I took too long with that other caller, I know. Tomorrow night we'll continue, but go ahead, caller.
Okay, well, I noticed the time is getting away from us, but
yes,
Mr. Short has substantiated my suggestion or my idea that right now Barbados is suffering from a situation where there's constitutional vandalism because of what is repeatedly being done to the nation of Barbados. And I like his address when he addressed the anti-defection bill.
Yes,
I am saying that it is the parliamentarians' freedom of choice and constitutional right to resign from a party or to go across the floor, whatever. That is a fundamental right that belongs to the parliamentarian, and no one has the authority to limit the power or the opportunity of an elected member of parliament. And I like what Mr. Short said, and then I like his suggestion that things are so bad in Barbados that he is saying something has to be done. We have to deal with what is happening in Barbados today because since 2018, we have been witnessing the dismantling of Barbados.
yes.
And democracy in Barbados is dead. There is no democracy in Barbados.
I agree.
And I would like Barbadians to realize that the Westminster system, and as far as I'm concerned, is outdated and irrelevant to post-independent, post-republican Barbados. And I would like Barbadians to also recognize that there are models of governance that are way older than the Westminster system. And if we go to Africa, you know, people don't like to hear about Africa, and they turn their noses up when we speak about Africa. But if you go to Chancellor Williams' book, The Destruction of African Civilization, from page 161 to 175, you will see the action of true democracy, right? And we need to look into our culture and to see select the best example, because the Westminster system is no good for us in 21st century Barbados.
And I think Adrian would agree with you with that. Well, thank you so much, caller. Let me go and take another call. I have 3 persons I have to call before the night is up. Okay, thank you so much. But we will have tomorrow too. You have contributed very well, Nigel. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yes. All right, so I'm going in the order in which the calls came in. Yes. Folks, okay, so I see everybody. You're saying hi, caller. Hey, Ross, how you doing? Yes. We have a few minutes. What are your thoughts so far, Ross? It's good to hear you.
Yeah, very good night. Very good night to the
loyal opposition. Yes.
Loyal opposition. I have some very short but some serious points to make. Number one, why we are getting so much problems with the education system? The whole education system in Barbados is corrupt. And it's corrupt from the schools. That is why everybody is saying that the boys is doing so bad. The boys will always do bad because there's no attention to the boys and every attention to the girls. The reason for this is because when you control the women, you control all the men. This is what is happening in Barbados at this point in time. You control the women and you'll have all the men. That is why you are having this political system functioning the way as it is. If you look at all the heads of Barbados, they are now turning to women. We had a situation in Barbados where we had a minister chased away from the government and voted back in by the people without even a question about his loyalness. This is the problem why we had so much problems with the housing. Can you remember the housing system where all the problems was going on and they actually got rid of the minister? Election time came and the minister was back in.
Correct.
We had a lot of problems in the hospital. Within a matter of seconds, the prime minister ran down to the hospital, and rather than checking for the hospital, she called an election. Isn't this reality? Like Mr. Stewart said, we don't want to solve the problems. We want sweetness.
Exactly. That's it. We want the fete. We want the party.
So if we want sweetness, we don't want problems solved.
No. Well, caller said.
That's me for tonight.
Yes, thank you, caller, for calling. Thank you for calling, and be ready again tomorrow night. Listen, be ready again. We appreciate you guys when you call. Thank you. Okay. Hi, caller. Welcome to the Marcy Week Show. This is the last caller for the night. Yes, good night.
Yes. Before the end, found out the roadster was excellent, amazing, and on 0.1 million%. And the money fellow around called A. He was on the money. The same thing that I and others have been saying. We as Democrats have allowed the ready government to not only infiltrate, do window shopping in John Street, and I hope they hear my voice. We have allowed that. And we paid dealings right at the polls. I heard they heard clearly what the good man, Mr. Stewart, said. A man with wealth and knowledge and years of experience that people could taste. I saw some comments that were ridiculous online. And nothing can step in his shoes. Right? We have a bunch of people that are actors and actresses that only about friends and
Hello?
they do not care.
Right. Your Wi-Fi, you're breaking up badly. You're breaking up. Okay, just make the point. Hello? 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 No, we can't hear him. All right, no problem. Yeah, not hearing him well at all. Yeah. Listen, folks, this tonight for me, I sat here all the time I wasted putting together a show today. I spent probably about 4 hours here trying to put a show together today. And it's when I'm getting dressed, then I'm told, that's not your show. This is their show. And that's the thing about us, it's not about me. It's not about the guests. This platform is God's platform. And I just want to say that as we close tonight, it is God's platform. And whatever he wants on the platform is what is done on this platform. I try my best. I don't say I get it right all the time. But, that's really what I want to do. I'm not trying to promote anybody. And, guys, the same way that we platform, as they would say we platform people like Mr. Stewart and Mr. Thorne and all these people, these different people that they want to shut up. We platform them. And I'm saying we will spend the money and advertise. We will, listen, we could do this so big, guys, for the independence. So the 60th, we advertise widely and rent a space. And because November is a rainy season, and get to a space where this man with proper sound system, proper seating, and where he speaks to the nation. And if you are all for that, how many of you would attend? Because, we will do these things and you don't show up. You can't have a statesman speaking and he's speaking to 3 people. It can't. And that is part of why they disrespect people. Because we don't find that it makes sense to put on your clothes and get somewhere to listen. Whatever space we get should be packed to capacity. That's the respect that you give to somebody. He's the only living prime minister, former prime minister that we have. And we should give him the respect. He should not be speaking to 4 people. And when I speak like this, they're thinking that Mr. Stewart tells me to speak like this or that I'm a member of the DLP. I'm no member of no DLP. I am speaking on principle and out of love for country, out of love for this country. How could you not want to platform somebody like this? Listen to what he had to say tonight. And some of you, if he says yes, I don't know if he will say yes. We are just here, we're chatting about it. I hope he would say yes. Will you attend? That's the question. Will you put on your clothes, leave your house and attend? Or you're going to let it be that 3 people show up and then they laugh and say, you see, nobody wants to hear him. All of us need to be down there with our children, with the young people. How are we going to get this nation better? Put it all what you need. If you want to throw some entertainment in there, throw some in there. Throw some in there and get the young people to come and sit down and listen. It's the 60th anniversary, the 60th independence, which they're not making much of a fanfare about. They're going to rush after crop over and rush, slap, dash, do something for the 60th. Because they don't care about independence. They want to push republic because they're so stupid. They will destroy their own history and their heritage to promote their legacy. Mr. Stewart is not my friend. I'm not somebody I get up and I talk to every day. He's never been on the show. I don't know, even know if he will accept. I know it's necessary. I know that it is necessary, whether he was a BLP, a DLP, a CLP, or what. He is the only living prime minister. And as long as I have this platform, he's going to be respected on here. Here I tell you. As long as this platform exists, all of you listening out there, I tell you, this man is going to be respected on it because he don't thief nothing from nobody. There's no reason for him to be treated as an outcast, but because you say so, we must do it. We are not listening to you. No, it's done. Nonsense. You are told us lies. I need to finish this program here tonight, but I want to talk to them. You told us lies, and the country believed you. Look at you. And the reason we know you are liars, because you now have 2 of them in your cabinet. If the corruption was happening, why you have the 2 of them in your, you guys are liars. This government is filled with liars. You use lies. You use lies is what you did. Look at the intellect of this man. And you gave him a name. Fumble. Who fumble like you guys? Do you see? Who fumble like you, Mia Motley? Who can never start, never finish anything that you started. You fumble. Now the scales have removed from our eyes and we realize that you fumble. This is a fumble government. And we reject the lies. We are adults and we no longer believe those lies. And the people in the DLP who want to promote that lie, I reject it. I am not part of you, DLP. And I will not believe no lies from you either. You want to believe the lies? Well, you stay with the lies. I am a Barbadian. I wasn't born here. I was naturalized. I'm a naturalized citizen. And I will choose who I want to associate with. You, Mayor Motley, will not tell us who we can associate with. If we want to go to hear from the Stewart, we will put on our clothes and go to hear him. And we will listen to him on our devices. Who do you think you are? Yes, I need to finish this show because there's tomorrow. I'm gonna get off of here. But I just got fired up all of a sudden to think that you want to come now to tell us who to associate with. To hell with you. You will never tell me who to associate with. You, the BLP, nor the DLP, can't tell me who to associate with. Go to hell. All of you. I'm sick of it. I am sick of it. I need to come off the show before I sin myself because these here are getting, the worst thing you can do is to try to tell me, put me in a corner and try to tell me, oh, don't talk to this one, don't listen to this, don't try it. Don't try it. You're a bunch of liars. And we have found you out. You are the fumbling ones. Guys, we're not even playing any music tonight. The truth is that Dave is not here, so I can't play any music. You know, he's out relaxing. He's supporting some people from a young lady from our school, and so he's not. But I'm going to play one of Michelle's song tonight before we close. I'm fired up. I can't wait for tomorrow. I can see myself tomorrow night. You all better sign on tomorrow night, because tomorrow magic gonna happen on that show tomorrow night. All right. So bless up, guys. Bye-bye.